if you want to make straight lines, hold down the Option key. Just make sure you have the Option key held down before you let go of the mouse button, and keep the Option key held down the whole time once you start making straight lines. And if you want to go back to a freeform shape, just click the mouse button, and you can start dragging. Doesn't matter if you have Option held down or not. And so therefore you can have a complex object that needs a freeform shape, and then you run into a spot that needs really straight lines that wouldn't be convenient for you to draw by hand. So you hold on the Option key, start clicking, clicking, clicking to get those straight lines. And then remember, if you get close to the edge of your screen, that it means that you're going to scroll. And I think the two of them ends up making it much more convenient. Another thing is, if you're not used to using the polygonal lasso tool and you accidentally click on your image and start making a selection, it's just going to keep going forever. I mean, you're like, how the hell do I get out of this thing? It doesn't matter where you click. Go over here and try to click on a tool to change. No, it's going to click on your picture and think you're still making it. Just hit the escape key to say, get me out of this thing. Okay? Escape gets you out. Or you can also double-click. Double-clicking would finish the selection. Escape gets you out and throws away the selection. Double-clicking finishes it. Or just click where you started, like to actually create a closed shape. All right, then we have another selection tool. Zoom up on these pumps. Unfortunately, these pumps are really fake. This is just a plastic insert. These numbers couldn't twirl. All right, I'm going to come in here. We have a third lasso tool that is called the magnetic lasso. The magnetic lasso tries to cling to the edges of things, but there's a little bit you need to know about in order to use it properly. So let's zoom in, and let's see if I can get it to help us to select the top portion of this pump. With the magnetic lasso tool, you take the little triangle that's there. Let me see if I can zoom up on the cursor. You see the cursor has a little triangle next to it. The tip of that triangle is where you're clicking. In older versions of Photoshop, I don't believe they had the triangle there. Instead, it would be the tip of where the rope ends is where you'd be clicking. They changed it to try to make it more obvious where you're clicking. With that, what I need to do is move it to the edge of an object. Get it right on the edge, and then click and let go. And that tells it what you want to select. Think of it as magnetizing that object. Then if I stay close to the edge and go up like this, it will try to cling to that edge, as long as I'm close enough. But the problem is it seems to not be all that useful because it's like seems to randomly do weird stuff. And that's because you're not seeing enough if you just click and start using it. What you want to do, escape here, is you want to press the caps lock key before you use it. And you want to leave the caps lock key turned on the whole time. If you don't have caps lock turned on, the tool seems to not make any sense at all. Don't ask me why. That's not the default setting because it should look like this. You'll see why in a moment. Now what you want to do if you have the caps lock key held down is there's a little crosshair in the middle of your cursor. You want to get that on the edge of the object. You want to click it right on the edge to magnetize that object. And now what your task is to go around that object and make sure the edge stays inside the circle.
Do you need to hold the caps lock down or just press?
No, caps lock's a toggle. So you just press it, the little light on the key usually turns on, and it just stays there. Yeah. So now my job is to trace around this pump and simply keep the edge inside the circle because it's only going to cling to those things that would be in the circle. So I can go over here, and as long as I keep the edge in there, you don't let the thing leave that circle. Oops. Okay. So it really messes up if you go too far away. And I'm not saying it's perfect here. There are other settings that we can use. But you get the idea that it's doing an okay job going around there as long as I realize that there's a circle involved. Now I'm going to hit the escape key to undo that. There's more to it. At the top of your screen, there's a setting called width, and it determines how big the circle is. So if I want a bigger circle, I can just type in a higher number there. And I don't actually type a number in. I just click on the word width and drag left or right to change it. That's true of any time you see a number with the name of the number next to it in a panel, in a little palette or panel. Just click on the name and drag left or right to change it. So now I get a bigger circle. I click the